Anyway, why did I do that? You guys, I have the easiest breakfast to share with you today, and this is one you can make ahead of time or the morning of. You're gonna need 8 eggs, a ham steak or diced ham, garlic powder, salt, pepper, and hash browns. It's gonna come together super fast, so let's just get into it. I started by dicing my ham. If you already bought yours diced, just throw it in the bowl and move that aside. We're gonna now add in our eggs. I add my eggs 1 egg at a time because I am prone to getting a shell in there, and I found it's way easier to fish a shell out of my egg when it's just 1 as opposed to it being all 8. So there you go. That's my little hack for you. Next, I'm adding in my shredded cheese, making sure to save a little bit so I can sprinkle it on the very top right before I throw it in the oven. And then just throw in your hash browns. I'm telling you, this is so simple. Okay, so now we're adding our garlic powder, our salt and pepper, and then a couple splashes of milk. I did not measure any of this. I just kind of threw it together, but I'll have all the measurements for you in the description. I stirred it until it was super well combined and then started scooping it into my greased cupcake pan. Now, make sure you grease your cupcake pan really well or use liners because this mixture will definitely stick. Once I got everything scooped in, I topped it with that reserved cheddar cheese. That gives it a little bit of a crispness on the very top of your little hash brown cup, and then threw it in my oven to bake. Once it came out, I let it sit for about 10 minutes so that could start cooling. I noticed that it did kind of fall apart a little bit if I didn't let it sit. So try and refrain from popping them out too early, and then just take your butter knife like I did and go around the outside, and hopefully it does not stick too bad for you. I did have a few that I don't think I greased well enough, but for the most part, the rest really popped out super easy. If you are a meal prepper, these are perfect for you because you can make a big batch of them, put them in your freezer, and now you have yummy hash brown cups for days and months to come. That's what we ended up doing with ours. I have another really yummy recipe coming up, but if you wouldn't mind hitting that subscribe button or even sharing this video with your friends, it would really help my channel out a ton. I don't really know what's been going on with my channel, but it has been hit hard. So if you could help me with a share, a like, a comment, or even hitting that subscribe button, it would really mean the world to me. But if not, that's fine. I'm glad that you're here right now. I have another really yummy breakfast to show you. Next, we're going to make an egg bake. For this recipe, you'll need eggs, sausage, crescent rolls, and cheddar cheese. Go ahead and preheat your oven at this point and then come back and crack 6 eggs, get them all whisked together, and brown up your sausage. And then grease your 9x13 pan. My pan is smaller, but that's just because I was making mine in my toaster oven, so I have to use smaller pans. But this recipe is designed for a 9x13 pan. So I ended up having some croissant dough left over, which we ended up making pigs in a blanket, so it was fine. But for yours, your croissant dough will probably fit just perfectly in a 9x13 pan. Smush them together to kind of seal the seams, but don't worry if they're not 100% sealed. They're gonna bake together and they'll be fine. And now you just start layering. So I added my browned sausage and spread it out over top of the crescent dough. I found some onion, so I threw that in there too. And then added the egg right on the top of that. After that, I sprinkled on my cheddar cheese so it could have that nice golden crust on the top and threw it into my oven. It is seriously that easy. I'm telling you, these breakfasts are so simple. Here is what it looks like straight out of the oven. We ended up cutting ours into big, huge squares because this was going to be a very filling breakfast for us. And then we topped it with some homemade pico from my brother and his girlfriend and some avocado slices. And let me tell you, this egg bake is so delicious and filling, and it is pretty hearty, but when you're adding in that fresh pico and fresh avocado, it makes it taste just a little bit lighter. So anyway, hope you give this a try. And if you do, one other suggestion from Bella is to add salsa if you don't have pico and sour cream. Today we are making little mini muffins. So I am starting with 2 cups of pancake mix. I'm going to add my milk to this and then whisk up a couple eggs super quick. Yes, I am wearing my jammies. We're making this for our breakfast today, so we're actually both in our jammies. Add our whisked 2 eggs into our pancake mix, and then we'll add in our syrup. I'm just using maple syrup for this, and give this a good little mix. Okay, once you have it all whisked together, you'll want it to be a consistency like this. I'll show you. So I have my muffin tin. We are using just a mini muffin pan to make them because we want to have multiple flavors, possibly all at once on the same day, you know, if you can't decide what flavor you want. And I'm going to start by putting about 3/4 of a tablespoon of my mixture into each little liner. So now I'm going to start adding in my toppings or mix-ins. I'm going to do chocolate chips. Next we're going to do the sausage ones, and I think I'm going to only be able to fit like 2 little chunks of sausage. I should have cut them up a little bit smaller, but it's okay. I added a little bit of cheese to the sausage ones, which I think is going to be super yummy. And then the next set I'm going to do is blueberry, and the last ones are cinnamon and sugar. I used a toothpick to kind of swirl the cinnamon and sugar in on those end ones, and then I did end up topping off a couple of the muffins that I thought needed a little bit more pancake batter in them, and then I throw them in the oven and wait until you see what they look like. Here they are all done. Oh my goodness, I've let them cool. So here is our little chocolate chip one. Here is our little sausage guy, blueberry one, and our cinnamon and sugar swirl. Oh my goodness. These would be perfect if you were having the girls over for brunch, which we know we're probably not doing that quite as often as we would like to, but they're definitely fun to make for your kids too. We did throw a lot of these in the freezer again, so we will be able to enjoy these for the weeks to come. But anyway, what was your favorite breakfast? What do you typically like to make for breakfast? I'm thinking I want to try some oats or something, like overnight oats. I've never done those. So I think those are going to be what is on our breakfast table in the future. But thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in our next video. Bye.